Welcome to my channel. Today we will start trigonometry and bearing exercise 6.6 from question number 5. In this question, Baber Azam walked from point P to point Q at a bearing of 050 degree for 3 kilometers. This is the initial position of Baber Azam and we will make a bearing of 50 degree. This is the north direction, and from that direction we will create an angle in the clockwise direction of 50 degree with the help of protractor. So we will make a line in the direction of 50 degree and he travels 3 kilometers in that direction and reach the point Q. Now from the point Q he makes a bearing of 140 degree and reach the point R. So construct another north line here and makes an angle in the clockwise direction of 140 degree and draw a line in the direction of 140 degree and we will reach at the point R. Now we have to find the distance between the Q and R. This is our first objective, and if the distance P and R is 5 kilometers, if the distance between initial position and the final position is equals to 5 kilometers. Now as we know that both of the north lines are parallel lines and the line PQ is cutting both of the parallel lines. So according to the parallel line, the corresponding angles are equal. So if this angle is 50 degree, then the angle forming at this location is also 50 degree. And we further know that the total angle is equals to 140 degrees. So if we minus 140 degree from 50 degree, we will get the remaining angle, and the remaining angle is 90 degree. So 90 degree means that the line PQ is perpendicular to the line QR, which means that the internal angle of this triangle is also 90 degree. So now we have to solve this right angle triangle, and we also find the bearing of R from P. To calculate the bearing, we need this angle of the triangle, the missing angle of this triangle. This can be easily found with the help of trigonometric ratios. To find the missing angle, we will use the cos of theta, which is equals to base divided by hypotenuse. This is the value of the base and this is the value of the hypotenuse. So now by putting the value of base and hypotenuse, cos theta is equals to 3 by 5. Doing some mathematical work, theta is equals to 53.13 degrees. So adding this angle into the 50 degrees, we will get the bearing of R from P. So this is the second objective of our question, but we solve it first. Now we will calculate the distance of QR. To calculate this distance, we need the Pythagoras theorem. So by using the Pythagoras theorem and by putting the value of base and hypotenuse in it, and doing some mathematical work, we can calculate the value of perpendicular, which is equals to 4, and the distance between Q and R is equals to 4 kilometers. That's all about this question. Now moving toward the sixth question, the Rayyan spotted a snake directly north from his location. So this is the location of the Rayyan. In the north direction, he spots a snake. So here is the snake in the north direction, and this is the direction of the north from the snake. So now the another friend Sarim is 25 meter east of the Rayyan. So here is the 25 meter east of the Rayyan, but we don't know where to place the Sarim. Here we have another information. If the bearing of Sarim from the snake is 122 degree, we know that the Sarim is on this line, but anywhere on this line, but now we have an information that it is 122 degree bearing from the snake. Now we will construct 122 degree from the north side of the snake. This is the bearing 122 degree. Now we will construct a line from snake to find the location of the Sarim. So this is the location where the Sarim must be. So here is the Sarim 25 meter east of the Rayyan. He also spotted the same snake. How far Rayyan from the snake? We need to calculate the distance between the Rayyan and the snake. Now to calculate this distance, we need angle of the triangle. So let's find out the one of the angle of this triangle, and then we will able to solve this question. As you know that the supplementary angles are equals to 180 degree. So on a straight line, this is a straight line, the total angle on a straight line is equals to 180 degrees. So if we minus 180 degree minus 122 degree, we will get this remaining angle. So to calculate this remaining angle, we will do this 180 minus 122, which is equals to 58 degrees. So this angle is the 58 degrees. As we also know that the north side and east side are perpendicular to each other, so this angle is equals to 90 degree. And we have another information, the sum of the angles of triangles equals to 180 degree. So with the help of that information, we can calculate this angle of the triangle, which is equals to 180 minus 90 degree, because this is a right angled triangle, minus 58 degrees is equals to 32 degrees. So this angle is equals to 32 degrees. Now we have this angle of the triangle. So this is the base of the triangle, and the value of the base is 25 meter, and we need to calculate the value of perpendicular. So base and perpendicular, there is a one possible ratio, perpendicular divided by base, which is equals to tan of theta. Now putting the value of tan 32 is equals to, because perpendicular is the distance of Rayyan to snake, divided by 25, and doing some mathematical calculation, we will get the Rayyan to the snake distance, which is equals to 15.6 meter. That's all about this question. Now moving toward the question number 7. Bilal traveled 12 km on his bike to reach the school at the bearing of 60 degree from his home. This is the location of the home. First we have to construct a bearing of 60 degree. To construct that, find the location of the north and then construct an angle. Now construct a line in the direction of 60 degree bearing. On this line, Bilal traveled 12 km to reach the school. Now from the school he reached to the football ground at a bearing of 150 degrees. So now construct an other bearing from the school to 150 degree. This is the bearing of 150 degree. Now construct an other line which will lead you towards the football ground. If the distance between the football ground and the school is 5 km, then we have to calculate the distance from football ground to the home. As we know that both of the north lines are parallel to each other, and the line intersecting both of these lines is making an angle 60 degree with the first line. So it means that the corresponding angles are equal. So if this angle is 60 degree, then the angle forming here is also be 60 degree. So as we know that the total angle is 150 degree, so we can calculate the remaining angle by subtracting 60 degree from 150 degrees. So if we subtract 150 degree from 60 degree, we will get the angle of 90 degree. This means that this line from home to school is perpendicular to the line from school to the football. So we also know that if this angle is 90 degree, then the internal angle of this triangle is also equals to 90 degree. Now it is proved that this triangle is a right angled triangle. So we can use Pythagoras theorem, because we have the two sides of this triangle and we can calculate the third side of this triangle. So using the Pythagoras theorem, we know that hypotenuse square is equals to perpendicular square plus base square. By putting the values of perpendicular and the base, we will get the value of hypotenuse, which is equals to 13. So this is the hypotenuse of this triangle. So distance from the football ground to the home is equals to 13 km. Now we will solve question number 8. A car leaves the garage at a bearing of 040 degree and travel in a straight line for 13 km. So here is the location of the garage. It is the north side, and from the north side we will construct a bearing of 40 degree. The car leaves at the 40 degree direction from the garage. In that direction it travels a distance of 13 km and reaches at this spot. How many kilometer north and how many kilometer east has the car traveled from garage? So we have to find the distance in the north direction and in the east direction which car has traveled. So as you know that this is a right angle triangle because north is perpendicular to the east direction. So that's why this triangle is already the right angled triangle. To solve this triangle, we need one of its angle. To find that angle, we know that north is 90 degree towards the east. So this total angle is equals to 90 degree. If this total angle is equals to 90 degree and this angle is 40 degree, then the remaining angle should be equals to 90 minus 40 degree, which is 50 degree. So in this way we have one of the angle of this triangle and one side of this triangle. We can solve it with the help of trigonometric ratios. So as we know that base divided by hypotenuse is equals to cos of theta. Now by putting the value of hypotenuse and the angle in this trigonometric ratio, we will get the value of the base, which is equals to 8.36 kilometer. So the kilometers in east direction is equals to 8.36 kilometer. The car travels a distance of 8.36 kilometers in the east direction. Now to find the distance in the north direction, we will use perpendicular divided by hypotenuse. This ratio by definition is equals to sine of theta. Putting the value of hypotenuse and the angle of the triangle, we will get this equation, and after doing some mathematical calculations, we will get the value of perpendicular, which is equals to 9.96. So kilometers in the north direction is equals to 9.96 kilometers. If you understand these lectures of trigonometry and bearing, share it with your friends and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.